Hey guys, it's your boy Eli from the Geek Centurions, and I kind of scared Kelvin, but it's his turn to talk about himself anyway.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Kelvin. I'm back. What do you mean talking about myself? Like, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know, man. You have a bit of a narcissist tendency there.
Eh.
You do know what narcissist means, right?
I've heard the term enough, but I don't know the exact definition. I know it's like
And
something
we
about.
gotta, I gotta send you a dictionary.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Joey. We also got Joey here, but Joey,
Hey,
since I've been doing a running joke with Kelvin in these past few episodes where if he doesn't know a word, I'm like, I'm gonna send you a dictionary.
well, that's certainly. I feel like that has the potential of getting old. Like,
Real quick, real
Really
soon.
fast. Yes. Real fast, real soon. Thank you, Joey.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm just
Thank
saying,
you.
you need to cleverly slide it in sometimes, right?
True, which
So
is
now,
why
so now you're
which
just. So in other words, Eli, you're just killing the joke at this point with the sending the
I
dictionary.
was gonna say, Kelvin, I'm not looking for the word, but if whenever there's a word that I clearly see you're confused with, that's when I put it in. It's all natural there. It's a
Sure.
slight insertion.
So let's get to today's topic.
Yeah, so let's before Kelvin starts getting mad at me about talking about dictionaries, even though he might need one.
Again, this joke is gonna die. Like just like Joey says, it's gonna die out real fast. But sure.
Until he starts adding it on. But no, let's
Uh huh.
so recently in the news, in the little geek world that we live in, it's been announced that next year on HBO Max we are getting finally, and I mean finally, to the point that I don't even care that much about it. And I'm pretty sure a good chunk of my friends didn't really think it was going to happen. We're getting the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Yeah, that's happening. Apparently,
Yeah.
the whole thing was real.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of rumors
So
about a lot of things that were going to be released, but apparently that is very real and it's apparent and it's coming. So
yeah, and
yeah.
I remember I told Joey that this was happening. He was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting thing that's happening. I've gone to my emotions went to shock and later just uh bemused amusement, I guess. I don't know. Just it's either that or apathy, one of the two.
One of the two.
You know.
Yeah, I mean the history of the Snyder Cut in itself is probably one of the most interesting things to talk about. So we're going to be talking about basically the history of it and basically our thoughts on the fact that it's actually being released to the point where we all didn't actually think that was happening, and just wow, it's happening next
You guys
year.
you guys fill me in along the way because I do not know squat about like I know of the name, just was I know of Snyder's work kind of, but not really. So you guys are gonna have to fill me in along the way of like I guess the history part, the history segment of like his his role in the DC movies.
Kelvin, I think you actually know some of it though. You just didn't really think it was related to it. Because let's
Hmm.
face it, a lot of people have been clamoring for this. I remember there was a whole thing about, hey, they have a sign at New York Comic Con saying release the Snyder Cut. Someone put this on here that wasn't even us.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing.
Mm.
But essentially, as Kelvin says, we're gonna just start it off from the history. It'll either be me or Joy, and Kelvin, you can add on whenever you feel like you can.
Hmm.
Just make sure it's not just us
Oh
too,
no,
and
yeah. Like you
you being
guys.
the weird third wheel that you can be.
Okay.
I'm saying,
Just,
all
just,
I'm
just,
saying,
just,
Kelvin,
just fill,
all
just
I'm
fill me,
saying
just fill me
all
in.
I'm saying,
That's all.
Kelvin,
That's
is
all
that
you got to.
you can comment too. It's
I will
okay.
comment when I feel I
All
deem
I'm
is
saying, just
necessary.
make sure you don't
You
feel like
just
that
fill me
weird
in.
third wheel. Just don't.
Just, just go with the flow. Just
I
go at it,
I
and I
am,
will
Kelvin.
I
I
will comment.
am. I am. I am. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. Unswitch your panties real quick. Sorry. All right, let's get started off. So, Kelvin, this one I know you can talk about. We're gonna start off with a quick history of Snyder's roles in the DC films. He started
Hmm.
off. He's the most noticeable comic book movie, despite before Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and what eventually is kind of Justice League. He was known for these other two comic book movies, which was 300 and Watchmen, and 300 being the more popular of the two. And I know
Mhm.
you've seen that one, Kelvin.
I have, yes, I've seen.
And so you already know he sort of have a directing style, which is very I want to say muted colors and very slow-mo effects.
Yeah, I guess that would be sort of like some of his style. Very like, there's a lot of like visual flair. There's like the slow mo. I think in a lot of his recent movies have done the whole like weird like like digital zoom in effect. That sometimes happens in movies. I think he's done it quite a bit. But yeah, it's a lot of like very like. It's very stylistic, I guess.
Yeah, when you see his movies, you know his movies. Kelvin, I just mentioned the one, and he comes like, "Oh yeah, I saw that movie."
Yeah. Well, now that you mention his work, it's like, okay, yeah. So knowing enough to like you said, the muted colors, a lot of slow mo, a lot of effects, and yeah. So at least on that segment, I'm familiar with.
Yeah, and so eventually he got enough recognition, despite having a couple of flops. I think one of his big ones was Watchmen was kind of a questionable one. That I think the first one was Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I think it was. It definitely was a flop, if I recall correctly. I mean,
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
It had it had a lot of people who liked it, and I certainly knew people in like high school who liked it.
I know people who liked it too. Kelvin, you've never seen Sucker Punch?
Was that, correct me if I'm wrong, was it is that about it's like these it's like a majority female cast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, yes.
Kind of anime-esque.
There's some anime-esque moments.
Yeah, it's like very subtle, but not really subtle anime-esque moments. Like I know, like, but no, but I think one, like, two recognizable scenes that I remember is I guess the main leader of the, so to speak, of the group going up against the three giant samurai, and then going against
the only notable part of that whole film, because everything else was very confusing and very like what, even though it was basically about.
Oh no, yeah, it was. I honestly didn't get like what was the goal, or is it the end game of the squad? Like, what was their
really
final...
You didn't get that part? It was they were all being raped.
Oh,
that's them coping with being sexually harassed by the entire ward.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember. Yeah. They're in the psych. They're in the psych ward. But I didn't.
Them being that's their way of coping. And it's their imagination is to like trying to escape. Like, oh, if I picture it this way, if I picture this way, it'll be fine. And like, no, girl, you're being. They have to delete a scene where it made it super obvious.
Probably a reason why it's deleted.
Yeah, it's been real dark, real quick. But
I'll probably have to rewatch.
That's what he wanted to say, but no one got it, and no one.
I'll probably have to rewatch it again, just so that I can, I guess, understand.
Listen, Kelvin.
But
the fact that you didn't get it, and the fact that a lot of people, Joey didn't get it, someone had to tell me about it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, sure. I get it now, but the fact that you did a bad job. Where we are way off topic at this point.
Yeah.
Essentially, his style got the notoriety for DC, for him to lead the whole charge on the whole DC cinematic universe. That was a response to Marvel, because Marvel was making bank.
Mm-hmm. Marvel recommend that cheddar cheese.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, I'm correct. You can't not. Your face will judge the crap out of me, but Joey can vouch for me on this. I'm correct on this. That is a proper term for money. Another proper term for money.
I wasn't talking about that. I'm just like,
I know. You didn't say it. You didn't say it, but your face.
I know, but I wasn't thinking that though. I wasn't thinking that, Kelvin. You can't read my fucking mind.
Marvel reckoned money. DC basically wanted to do it like wanted to be like Marvel, and some were good, but there's others.
So before we go into that, Kelvin, we have to realize that Zack Snyder was essentially asked to helm the whole thing, so it was all his vision.
Yeah.
And because it started off with the first movie, Man of Steel, which he directed, which was it was apparently produced by Christopher Nolan, who made more money because he made the Dark Knight trilogy. And now it's Zack Snyder. He's here. He's doing it. And then everyone's like, oh, I'd rather not have that kind of Superman.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to see a Superman that snaps a guy's neck.
No. I guess in a way, I mean, the way I saw it, like in Man of Steel, when it's the final face off against General Zod, it's everybody has this picturesque moment of Superman as yes, he's an alien. He's he's either seen as an alien or he's seen as the poster boy hero. What defines like a hero kind of thing. And it's to that point to where like it's either exterminate the last of your kind or let the family or let the family die kind of thing.
You mean the most stupidest decision in all of movie in all Superman characterization?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you do realize one of the big points of Superman's this again. We're kind of sort of in topic but out of topic. But you do know the whole thing about the whole characterization about Superman, right? One of the big characterizations about him.
He is supposed to be like characterized as hasn't been categorized or characterized as like what, like the American
what's one of his most important like character roles? I guess that's the word I'm using.
He's supposed to be seen as like what, the typical like American hero?
No. So one thing about Superman that everyone knows that is a fan that has read a Superman comic knows that although he values human life, he also values like not just the fact that Earth is his home. He also wishes to know more of Krypton because he knows nothing of Krypton.
Yeah.
Every time he finds something of value of Krypton, he takes it wholeheartedly because this is me knowing about my past, about my culture, about the things I could never know. That's kind of so for me it was weird when he brought in the whole if you do this you'll destroy Krypton scene, and then Superman, well, Krypton had his chance, and I'm like, no, that's not Superman. That was my big thing. It wasn't even the snap.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like, Kelvin, okay. Kelvin, you're Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if someone told you who's Vietnamese.
Yeah.
I don't give 2 cents. That's me censoring myself. I don't give 2 cents about my Vietnamese culture. Go F yourself.
Okay.
That's basically what Superman would said.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. I got it now.
Yeah, that was my big issue.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so that's where we get into this whole questioning: should Zack Snyder be in charge of the DC films? Everyone, Man of Steel, and Kelvin and Joey, you can both attest to this. That Man of Steel was kind of okay, but questionable towards the end. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think it was a sort of. It had like I think the movie had some strong points, but it just sort of like it sort of failed on its execution, and overall it just doesn't work out by the end. I don't know. It's sort of like it tries, like I get what it was trying to do. It felt like a bit of a deconstruction of Superman, but it just doesn't really like land it. It's sort of just like I get what you're trying to say, but you it's not really, you didn't do it well.
No, you didn't do it well.
I felt like for me the ending for Man of Steel was like, okay, so to me it felt like, okay, here are the things you know about Superman from the moment he landed, from the moment he landed. Was it he landed in the cornfield? Okay, yeah, for the moment he landed on
Kansas.
Earth, yeah, Kansas specifically. The moment he landed in Kansas to, you know, his childhood, growing up, becoming Superman, and becoming the symbol of peace, and and the whole explanation. And for me, what got me was the explanation of the symbol on his chest, to where like everybody say, "Oh, what's the S stands for?" And he clearly explains, on my planet, it stands for
Hope.
what it stands for, hope. Yeah, but then towards the end, forget about everything that you've learned about Superman so far, and that's who he is now.
Yeah, let's go all 9/11 on this.
Yeah.
Which was like
that's to me it felt like that. It's like you get to the point of the end of the movie. Okay, you understand the character. You're loving this character. You want to see more of him, and then to ending, everything you know about him so far, throw it out the window. That's who he is now, and you're like, what?
Well, the fact that he said it took him up to 30 years to be Superman, I'm just like, why? Thank you so long. Why are you just now learning to do all this? What? Anyways, but that was the first moment we all knew that Zack Snyder might not be the right person for the job.
Yeah.
More notable was in his next DC film, which was...
Oh, no.
Kelvin, I'm going to need you to hold yourself because I know you want to rage. And I know we're going to end up fighting about this because we both had different opinions on why it's bad.
Yes.
Batman versus Superman, which was, Joey, would you like to tell the people how that movie was? Why easily step away from the camera, from the mic?
It's a bad movie.
There you go. Like just three words. It only took 3 words. Oh no, 4 words. It's a bad movie. That's it. That's all you need to know.
There are a lot of people on the internet that it's a weird like dividing topic, because some people will defend it till the day they die, and it's just not a hill worth standing on. It is a bad movie.
It's a hill not worth dying on. If you're gonna fight, if you're gonna fight this, it's not the battle you want to fight on, and you don't want to die on this hill.
You don't want to waste your time.
Yeah, like some of the arguments I had, in which where I thought it was poorly executed, but others thought it was well done. It's because a lot of people would say that they're trying, there's why didn't it, the first argument was, why did it not adhere to the original comic, the Batman versus Superman, where both heroes are super old, both Batman is like in his well into his 70s at this point.
Kelvin?
And then my thing is, movies aren't going to be like the books, or it's not going to be like the comics.
Kelvin?
Yeah.
Kelvin? I can give you 3 video essays that can explain all that. We haven't got the time for that.
Yeah.
But to sum it up, there were a lot of decisions that not only was bad from a adaptation from a comic perspective, but also a film perspective. And I don't just mean like, oh, this is how film is told. It's more like, oh, you didn't even do the right level of work. I know Joey can get mad at all the editing in that movie.
Well, it's less about the editing and more of just like plot structure, because it just seems to go on and on and on and on, and it's just a slog. I know if some people say that the director's cut / the ultimate cut that was released on Blu-ray and DVD and stuff, it is better, but still, just from the concept and the ideas alone, it's not that great of a movie still.
Yeah.
Adding additional scenes and stuff to help explain some of those things I mean, it's like
Let's enjoy it. I'm not. If I wasn't enjoying after the first hour, I'm not going to spend another 3 hours just watching that movie.
yeah, it's not gonna magically be good because of you explaining that stuff. I feel like it just means that you failed at it the first time, so now you're trying to make up for it.
My experience with watching it for the very first time when it hit theaters, I walked out probably like like with an hour left in the movie. With an hour and a half left, specifically an hour and a half left in the movie, I walked out. The second time I went to go watch it, and I decided, okay, I'm just gonna give this a full run. I sat through the full run, and
Kelvin,
it still didn't make sense. It still didn't make sense towards the end. So
Kelvin,
I mean, not making
remember
sense, but
when
like, yeah.
it first came out, the trailers, you were arguing about something, and I almost fought you on that.
I think at one point I thought that Batman v Superman was gonna be good because of the trailer, but now with the like after seeing like all the trailers and stuff and seeing the actual film, and I'm just thinking to myself,
no, there was a specific moment, and I don't mind talking about this because I thought it was pretty funny.
yeah,
We both almost fought each other over this one thing, and your big complaint from the trailers, it wasn't even the fact that they spoiled it. I remember this perfectly. You were upset that they gave Lex Luthor hair.
it was a minor detail about Lex Luthor, but specifically, like, I think no, it wasn't even about the hair. My thing
No. It was. I remember, Kelvin, because you were like, Lex Luthor's not supposed to have hair, and I'm like, motherfucker, yes he does. He had hair. Don't try to save yourself right now. I know you. I have a good memory. You were complaining about the fact that he had hair, and I'm like, Kelvin, that is not the most important thing to talk about in the whole film. Now you remember.
Okay, but the second thing about Lex Luthor was the cast. What led to the cast? Yeah, the casting choice of who they chose to play Lex Luthor.
I will say this: I actually supported Jesse Eisenberg.
I didn't.
Yeah, you.
I don't.
Don't you do this to me?
I don't.
Here's the thing, Kelvin. What is Lex Luthor as a character?
Like, was it he's always craving power and wanting to take down Superman?
No, kind of.
I mean,
that is like surface level. The only thing you've seen on TV and cartoons and all that stuff. Actually, the Justice League one did it better. His thing with Superman is that he does not like the idea of an all-powerful being helping people out. He's more of the struggler kind. Like he's like survival affairs kind of thing. He has that. Yeah. He has that thing going on.
Yeah.
When it comes to business, though, which we have seen Jesse Eisenberg do in The Social Network, Lex Luthor is cutthroat when it comes to business. Have you seen The Social Network? The way he acts, the way he talks, boy, that's Lex Luthor.
So you're saying that Mark Zuckerberg in real life is planning on one day running for president and ruling the world?
Yeah, I could see it. He has all information.
He is a lizard man, as far as the internet has told me. So
we're not gonna get it.
Yeah, we're going off topic here. I'm sorry, but yeah. Point is, Batman v Superman, which is supposed to, if I recall correctly, half of the reason why they made it was because Warner Brothers expected Man of Steel to be $1 billion hit. And it wasn't. It was short of the mark, and they quickly panicked and were like, Superman doesn't sell it on its own. We got to do something. Quick, add Batman. And then...
Because that's your moneymaker.
Yeah, and then Batman v Superman was planned and formed and doubled down on the aspects that people said, some people did not appreciate from Man of Steel, like the tone and the grittiness and stuff like that. Which, inevitably led to a good chunk of people being like, this movie ain't for me. This whole franchise seems bad, and I'm not going to watch anymore.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Wasn't it also the reason why they barely scraped by, so to speak? Because they didn't hit their mark, but the reason why they're still managed to scrape by was because domestically, yeah, even though it sucked domestically, but somehow globally or internationally, it did not well, but at least decent enough to where they're able to redeem themselves in most
Yeah,
cases. In
I
most
think
cases,
so.
Yeah,
on a global perspective, yeah, because
but that doesn't really mean anything though.
yeah, I guess just for the sake of numbers and whatnot, but that's about
For the
it.
sake of them making back their investment with the
Yeah.
movie,
Uh-huh.
it's the only thing that matters. But in terms
Even
of like,
then,
trying to say that like, oh, there's a good amount of audience people that like this, no, that did not help at all.
I mean, first of all, it's a whole bit. We're not a business podcast. That's you can talk to the other guys.
Yeah.
We know some, but
I don't know any.
The whole thing was that no matter if it did well domestically, it still did pretty bad overall.
Yeah.
Even then, it's a whole profit thing. You make you put a certain amount and expect a certain amount to come back, but you just barely scraped off.
Yep.
That ain't a success, buddy. That's a failure.
Yeah.
The small amount of business classes I took. Good luck.
Yeah. It's
anyways.
Yeah.
And that led us eventually to next. He didn't have an. Did he have an involvement in Wonder Woman?
I think he was a producer, but I mean
that would explain the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Maybe, but I think he had like a involvement in terms of like Wonder Woman's initial origins, but I think Patty Jenkins was given enough control of just making the movie like her way.
Yeah.
Although the last 15 minutes definitely do feel like they're ripped straight out of a Zack Snyder film. So.
Oh yeah, I felt that.
Yeah, so there's probably some.
Overall, yeah.
15 minutes.
Overall, though, the Wonder Woman movie, like when you look at the whole picture, it's a good movie. Like out of the entire DC line, okay, compared to no, but when you on its own, maybe. But compared to the other DC films with, Snyder's majority involvement, it's okay. It did well. It did well.
Did you not hear him? They didn't give him that much involvement.
What's up?
They didn't give him that much involvement, though.
Well, I mean, I assume they didn't. And he was only just a producer. And typically producers are either just the guys giving them money, usually, and will sometimes give creative notes. But they aren't necessarily the ones running the show.
Yeah.
The director is mostly.
Yes,
the directors, yeah.
Okay. Was the director, so she had more control than he did.
Wait, so Eli, go.
But it still had to fit in the tone of the universe, essentially.
That's that I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, going back though to what you said, so you're saying all of this, how you're saying that all of this was, demanding the Snyder Cut was demanded by fans at NYCC, like literally holding up a sign that says, "We want the Snyder Cut." That's how this all started.
Oh, it started way before that.
Okay, well, it's a long road to get there.
It is a long, detailed road.
Mm.
It is. We're just scraping the beginnings. We're about to get into the meat soon.
Mm.
Yeah, but no. Then we got the eventual lead up to Justice League. But tragedy struck. And this is one of the things where I'm not going to make fun of because, I like to make fun of some stuff, and this is not one.
When you first don't succeed, try again, I guess, in his terms.
No. Kelvin. So eventually Zack Snyder had to leave the Justice League, making Justice League because his daughter had committed suicide.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not making any jokes.
Yeah.
You leading to a joke is...
Well, it's a good thing you stopped me, but yeah. But yeah, I did hear Snyder getting pulled. Yeah,
sadly, life was lost, and as one does, Zack Snyder chose to, leave the project, spend time with his family. At the time, I remember I was like, my prayers go out to you, I hope he does well. And they decided to give the rest to Joss Whedon, who is known for Buffy and the first two Avengers films. So, yeah. Now, here comes the juicy part of the story. And Joe, I'm gonna let you handle this one. It's the whole reshoots.
Yeah, because the thing is, like Justice League started filming right when Batman v Superman came out in theaters, so they saw the initial response of Batman v Superman and quickly realized, well, Warner Brothers, the studio, quickly realized, if we gotta change some things. We gotta make sure this Justice League movie doesn't come out like that. So they had Snyder sort of like compromise in some stuff, because originally there was supposed to be Justice League was supposed to be a 2-part movie.
2 parts.
They eventually decided, let's just make it one big movie. All right, let's just condense it down into one movie, which they did. But then after Zack Snyder's daughter tragically committed suicide, and he decided to rightfully leave the project to take time off, Warner Brothers decided, hey, let's get the guy that made Marvel a bunch of money with Avengers and see if he can do the same thing for us. And obviously, like, the thing is, like, you're adding another director with their own vision of the project halfway through production with a lot of scenes already done, and now you have to like bring actors back in to redo some scenes to add,
levity.
I guess levity and like various other changes that either the studio or the director want, and it comes out into a big mess. Like, Henry Cavill, who plays Superman, had a mustache. Like, this is like super famous dumb thing that they did is that, like, apparently Tom Cruise did not want him to shave his mustache off because Henry Cavill was playing a role in the newest Mission Impossible at the time, and he did not want him to shave his mustache because it was, I don't know, some weird Scientology bullshit, I assume. And then they had to
Zemu wanted him to have his mustache.
I mean, I assume, I could be wrong. Tom Cruise is weird like that. But anyways, they had to digitally remove his mustache. Yeah, they had to digitally remove Henry Cavill's mustache, and you can see it in some of the scenes in Justice League.
Holy crap!
It does.
Oh my god!
Very weird. It does look very weird.
You didn't know this?
What? Like I knew Henry Cavill was also working on Mission Impossible at the time, and in his role, he has a mustache in the film. I did not know that at the time that he was on both up for Justice League and Mission Impossible within the same year. I did not know that he was in both. He was involved in both projects at the time, to the point to where, like, okay, he's finished Mission Impossible, right? And now Tom Cruise saying, "Oh, hey, keep the mustache." To the point to where, like,
no, he wasn't done. He was still filming it.
So they just decided to digitally erase it.
You gotta realize this is that's the issue. It would have made so much money. They had to pay people to digitally remove the mustache.
Yes.
When he could have just shaven it off and go when he went to do his scenes for Mission Impossible, either put on a fake mustache or waste money more by putting a fake mustache.
Or put a digital one back on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise through Justice League. Remember that.
Quote on that.
Tom Cruise definitely had a hand in destroying Justice League.
Yeah, so essentially, Kelvin.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, but like a little side joke. My theater theater teacher always had a joke to where the one most dramatic person in our drama class gets the nickname dubbed Tom Cruise because of how much of a drama queen he was, especially on set.
Oh yeah.
Like my theater teacher would constantly, like, if we're rehearsing and there's one person who's the lead role doesn't show up and is acting like a drama queen when he comes in, say, "All right, Tom, get out here." Like, he gets dubbed the name Tom Cruise because
I think I know what theater teacher you're talking about, but no.
Oh God!
To sum up.
So now Tom Cruise.
Kelvin.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you understand. But no, to sum up, Henry Cavill was called in to do reshoots for Justice League to make it more what the studio felt like the people wanted. But now, but the thing is, infamously, actually, would probably be a better word, is that they refuse to let him shave his mustache. So whenever you see him on screen, see Henry Cavill as Superman on Justice League, you can clearly see his mustache, the outline of the mustache. They did not do a good job. And so they wasted more money digitally removing his mustache when it could have been so much cheaper just for him to shave it off and put a fake mustache on. That's all he had to do. That is the most famous thing of that film, and essentially that is one of the most well-known things about the reshoots. It became, even when you watch Justice League now, you can clearly tell there were two different people because there were two different tones going on.
Yeah.
When you look at the trailers, you're like, okay, this does not make wait, what? There's so many changes.
Yeah.
I mean, and it made a lot of people. There's moments where you're like, that's a Zack Snyder scene. That's a Joss Whedon scene. Oh, okay. It still looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, Justice League was still pretty bad.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's like a Frankenstein of a film.
That'd be.
Is what I've heard some people say on the internet.
And so later on, we all know it came out. It's bad. It did not do good.
Yeah, and that's the real thing, is that basically DC's answer to the Avengers essentially bombed hard. It did not make the money they projected, and even worse, it barely made any money back. And that essentially is sort of and DC has at least, I think, managed to somewhat rebound from Justice League. And
I fucking love Shazam.
Yeah, they've been managed to put out some decent films over the years since Justice League. Wonder Woman, sadly. And it's just sort of, it's a lot of, I think, people at least sort of just see like that whole like first couple of films in DC's cinematic universe as sort of like, well, these clearly did not work. Let's not touch any of that ever again. Well, until now, of course.
Yes, because as time went on, Zack Snyder essentially, and I think it was during the Blu-ray release, right? Or somewhere around that time, that essentially Zack Snyder started posting on social media eventually the plans that he had for Justice League and the plans that would have been leading up to essentially what would have been Justice League 2. Mm-hmm. Basically, he just showed off his whole like map of what he wanted to do with the DC films. And for a lot of people, that was like, that sounds awesome. This would have been badass. Oh my god. You're telling me Martian Manhunter was there the whole time, but he was hiding? We just didn't realize that one character that no one even remembers was actually Martian Manhunter? That's such a great idea. By the way, Kelvin, remember that general in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman? That's Martian Manhunter, apparently.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
what?
No, that's
what?
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going with that, because I knew what you were saying, but your tone made it seem like you were like, this is a great idea, but I now realize you were being sarcastic.
Yes, you're telling me that is it General was it Eiling or
something
it was
like
it's supposedly
he
like
supposed to be John Connor the entire time.
No, but what I'm saying is like he's supposed to be like Lois Lane's like dad, right?
No, that wasn't his dad.
Or
it was the black guy.
It was the black military guy.
But you're telling me that that he was supposed to be the
I think there was supposed to be a Green Lantern showing up, like actual Hal Jordan, one of the two.
And I think it was mentioned, like, the whole dream sequence of Batman.
Yeah,
with the Flash. Or Flashpoint.
Yeah. Kind of. It was like supposed to be like.
I'm sorry, I hated
Batman,
that.
Batman's dream thing.
That was
like it was supposed to like.
Yeah.
supposed to like reference
Let him
like
finish.
like it was supposed to like it was like the whole setup for like why it's two parts because Superman was supposed to come back in part 1 and be evil and then be turned good in part 2 or whatever.
Yeah, because I think Darkseid came at the end of part 1,
Yeah.
killed Lois Lane, and with like the use of the mother box and sort of Superman's sort of saddened state, and I think the anti-life equation, which is a very deep-rooted lore for DC Comics that I'm not going to go into, was supposed
Please
to
don't.
control Superman, and that's how Superman became evil Superman, and which I think was supposed to lead into Flashpoint and to fix everything or something like that. Somehow, I don't remember. I just at some point the whole descriptions became very confusing, and I just stopped caring.
The more I hear about the like, gosh darn it! Oh my gosh. I just did not enjoy I didn't enjoy the that execution of Flashpoint. That was very poorly executed. Like the way
Well, here's
they
the thing: Flashpoint is still pretty new, and everyone's been using it forever. No, like we know Flashpoint. That's
we know what happens, but it's just like
that's not about we know it happens, Kelvin. It's not like we know about Flashpoint. You've done it to death now. It's literally the
so you oversaturated, you overabused it. Yeah.
Yes, it's like the joke that I kept using for the past 2 episodes.
Which was
I'm expecting you to
which
you see what I did
was
now? You see what I did now?
I don't think that was intentional, but I mean that was very sort of calculated, I guess.
Jerry, I'm gonna kick you if you don't shut up.
All right. But yeah, it's point. I guess the point is that there's a lot of interesting things that could have happened with Zack Snyder's original vision for Justice League's Part 1 and 2, but that kind of isn't really, I think, what the Snyder Cut is going to be.
No,
right?
And because right now what we're going to go into is the reason why people wanted to know. Because of, all the stuff that I just said, Kelvin, that just recently came out.
Yeah.
What really started was like sort of concept art of what was supposed to be. Darkseid was supposed to show up. They kept alluding to Darkseid, and sort of it started off this whole trend that we know as #release the Snyder Cut, which essentially is people wanting this director to release his vision of what he wanted to do. Which, coming from an artist, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I always want to see what the artist is thinking whenever they do their project.
Yeah.
But my boy, if your project is sort of really whacked out, then just don't know. Just stop. Just stop. It's not worth it, buddy.
Yeah.
But like, it's essentially everything that we kind of hated about, whether it be Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, was supposed to be answered as it goes along. And I feel like people are thinking that, this would make those past movies great. And Kelvin, I'm pretty sure you can sum up my thoughts onto that.
With the cut, with the Snyder Cut, announced, and it's gonna have a release and everything. I feel like because of what we know from past history. I know. Let's see. Essentially what we know of from past history is that we know that
past 2 films.
Yeah, past couple films, they didn't do so great. They didn't do so hot, and then now it's like, with this cut, it's either going to be a point, which brings us to eventually our next point. Is it going to be redeemable to where, like, okay, it could have have or what should have?
Kelvin, you jumped the gun a bit, so I'm gonna bring us back.
Okay, but
so I was basically just asking you. We pretty much sure, like, it's not gonna work. That's all I was asking you to say.
Oh, okay.
But it's most likely not gonna work. But the fact that so many people demanded it, and I'm saying, okay, Kelvin, when was Justice League released? Like, at least 4 or 5 years ago?
In 2017, right?
Justice League was released in 2017.
Yeah, it was
Really?
2017. Yeah.
It
2017
feels a
was the
lot
release. Yeah.
longer.
No,
Mm-mm.
not to me. To me,
No.
huh?
2016.
Maybe the experience has aged you in mental years, and
You know what? I think that's what it is.
you have like PTSD. You know, it's sort of like you're
20
having like war flashbacks right now, like just like and like some creepy like piano music in your head, and just like remembering of all the bad times
cue,
watching the movie.
cue the flashback piano scene, and as the waves just kind of Eli goes back out to playing.
For the audio listeners, Eli's just like looking.
He's
Like
just staring off.
what-
He's staring off
He's
into the
staring
great.
at a wall in the corner. He's just
He's
staring at
staring-
the corner of a wall.
He's staring off into the
And,
great unknown and deep and the deep space that is what could have been, but
This
did not
reminds
happen.
me. This reminds me of the scene from Night of the Museum where the Roman centurion, like little person, just looks out in the distance, and Ben Stiller just like, "What are you doing?" All right, we're done with the bit.
Yeah, no, I was
Oh,
thinking of
God.
that one song that you tend to see every like every movie set about like Vietnam.
Oh, the Vietnam War.
Like that.
Oh my God!
Fortune Son?
Yeah, Fortune Son. Yeah, I was thinking
Oh
of that.
my
like,
gosh.
People running.
You just
had to bring up the Vietnam War, huh?
that song
You
is
said
so.
Y'all don't say PTSD flashback, and that's the first thing I thought of.
That song, by the way, is so
Could have
over.
gone with World War II. It's so much more like tame,
No, see, if I was gonna do the World War II, then I would have to do like Tom Hanks, Vampire Ryan, where my hand is just shaking for like a bunch of reasons why.
All right,
So-
back on topic.
Back on topic.
Back to action. God.
Okay. So yeah, no, because of the stuff that Zack Snyder has said, caused a lot of people to want to see it. Heck, even Jason Momoa and some other actors were like,
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot?
Yeah, Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa did the hashtag. Now, whether or not it was them themselves that did it, or it was like a publicist kind of thing, that's up to interpretation. But
Yeah.
they it was on their social media accounts, so they noticed. Kind of, I assume.
Right.
So both Momoa and Gadot do not or do.
We're like, we want to see this cut.
Oh, they want to see the cut.
Yeah. And that's essentially enough pandering from both fans and the cast themselves. Eventually led us to have what we have now, which is the Zack Snyder Cut is officially coming out next year, 2021. I want to say it's during either the spring or the summer of that year through HBO Max. And I think we all just gave our reason as to why we're not that excited about it.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a lot of information to take at a time. It's like, why bite off more than you can chew, but then you can chew, then you can handle. It's like, we know about this. Why stuff more into it? Why add more?
Again, Kelvin, I think it goes back to people saying, we want to see this man's vision. This man clearly had a vision. Because one thing that I forgot to mention, and I forgot to add it to our notes for this episode, is that a lot of people feel that they screwed Zack Snyder over. You remember that?
Yeah, there is a sizable contention of people that feel like the studio intentionally like screwed Zack over, feeling that he was no longer fit to, I guess, lead, be sort of the head honcho of the DC movies.
Yeah.
So some people say that they used his daughter's apparent suicide as a way to get rid of him, place someone that they thought could do the job better, and hopefully
and redo his whole vision and do it in a way that's the most marked.
Oh,
yeah.
So in the end, Snyder would just really play the scapegoat, and essentially, like, he played the because using Yeah,
Yeah.
using him as a leverage. Okay, now he's dealing with a personal issue. Okay, let's boot him. Let's boot him out. Bring someone in that did well, in Marvel, and hopefully, redo the whole thing. And in a sense, for them, that backfired tremendously. So in a sense,
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, that backfired tremendously to the point to where, like, okay, trying to screw over Zack Snyder and then using him as a scapegoat just as a reason to bring in someone new,
Yeah, and basically make it in a way where the whole cinematic universe for DC is a lot more profitable.
Nice, Joey. Yeah, I agree.
Now, what's the old Shrek saying? Better not than in, as I always say.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Better out than in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right. But
What are you doing in my swamp? But anyways, yeah, that's sort of the consensus.
That's the thing. A lot of people. That's one of the things a lot of people feel is that this man got screwed over. Let him do what he wanted.
Yeah.
To which, again, I totally understand. I would like to see someone's vision be completed, but I don't know if it would have come out the way not the way he wanted, but the way we would want it to happen. We clearly had a lot of problems when it came to Man of Steel. You had a lot more problems when it came to Batman vs Superman. Do we really want to? Not to say Zack Snyder is bad. I feel like his directing style is great. Storytelling is the real thing I have an issue with, but essentially, it doesn't. I don't think he was the right guy for it. Maybe if he did some sort of like deconstruction comic book, basically like The Watchmen, which was another 50-50 split because some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah,
I'm in the I kind of like it camp, even though the book is way better because the book is always better.
That's usually the case. That's usually the case for most series and or yeah.
I will put us a little bit off topic and just say Jurassic Park the movie is better than the book, and that is all I will say.
That's because you read the book.
Oh yeah. But anyways, yeah, I am also I guess I would say I'm more morbidly curious about the Zack Snyder cut.
You guys do realize we're going to have to watch this either way and have an episode about it, right?
Eventually.
I'm not subscribing to HBO Max. You kidding me? That's out today, by the way. You know that, right?
Yeah, but the movie ain't out today.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not out today. But yeah, I'm sort of morbidly curious about the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League because from what I've looked up and what I've researched, it's like it's going it doesn't seem to be like I think they're going to put in some money in order to like finish up a lot of because I think the Zack Snyder cut that they're doing is not like again not his original vision of part 1 part 2. It's sort of like an assembly cut, which is basically a very early edit of the film that Zack Snyder had before he left. And they basically were going there's a lot of like unfinished scenes, like if you've there's a lot of unfinished scenes like this poor CGI and stuff like that. And he showed me something on the phone and I can't really respond to that. But anyways,
I'll talk about it in a minute, but just continue.
But basically it's going to be that like they're going to put in money in order to like fix some of that stuff up, make it presentable, because no one wants to see like a half finished CG render of like some random stuff happening that you see in like behind the scenes footage. So that they're doing that. And from what I gathered, like this isn't being like headed by like the main like people that are running the DC films. Like this was like a thing that Warner Brothers parent company AT&T wanted as a product that they can use to push HBO Max. Much like cuz I think they saw the success of Disney Plus and The Mandalorian and realized, all right, we need something big. We need something that can hit as hard as as a Star Wars TV show that was really good.
Yeah.
All right, what about using the Snyder Cut as a way to get people to come in to HBO Max to subscribe and watch that?
Oh,
That
jeez.
sounds great. That sounds perfect. Let's do that. Warner Brothers, DC Films, get on that. And they're just like, well, I mean, we're doing all this other stuff, though. It's like, do it, because we're your parent company and we want the money.
Listen, son. I want you to do well.
Listen, we merged with Time Warner. All right,
Oh my
we
God.
need to make sure this investment works.
I remember that time, like the moment they announced that merge, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's giant corporations coming together. You know, it's
one that's doing well
I'm-
merge with.
I'm literally thinking of that meme. Are you winning, son?
Oh my God.
RoboCop.
The meme where like the dad is at the door.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
like,
All right.
Are
Oh
you
my-
winning, son?
Okay, all right. But yeah, that's basically from what I've gathered. That's sort of like that's sort of the driving force of why the Snyder Cut is being released as a way
Yeah.
to push HBO Max to the public. And you know, it seems like a slightly effective strategy. I won't lie. I mean, but at the same time, you know, I feel like people could easily just go like, I'm going to pirate that. I'm going to go to Pirate Bay and just download the torrent.
Which we are not going to do, right, guys?
Totally
I mean,
not
I
gonna
w-
do it. But
I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I don't want to go on any illicit website like that. No one should.
No one.
Don't do it, kids.
But for real though, piracy is bad. You wouldn't download a car, would you?
Oh, do you know what?
That was
Okay. Do you
that,
guys? Okay.
that's a weird argument that people used to make.
No,
when-
I remember that super old ad before some of the movie.
Yeah,
that talks
yeah,
about piracy.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
yeah.
I just
It's
remember those. I'm like,
really dumb.
it's like, oh, you do this? It's the same thing as stealing a car. You wouldn't steal a car, would you now? So don't pirate
Yeah,
a movie.
Stop tempting me in corporate America.
Yeah, but yeah, that's basically my opinion on this on the Snyder Cut. Honestly, so
Cullen,
yeah.
Cullen, give us your quick thoughts. Because first of all, I found a list that tells more about what essentially was planned for the original Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. Just give us your thoughts real quick.
Okay. Quick 2 cents on it. You know, obviously fans, like, you know, majority of the fans aren't as excited because of what's happened so far, and knowing the history of both films and how it's gonna be. But then on the other side, you're still gonna have the diehard fans that somehow still defend that those movies were good, and they're now excited to see, okay, Snyder's vision of what could have been in the film, but ended up not making the cut. So, yeah, I just want to watch. I just want to watch the cut, just to not really get over it, but it's just to see, okay, what the big fuss was it about, and you know, again, like you mentioned before, we're gonna eventually do an episode on this. What was it worth it or not? Really, you know, was it worth putting more money into something that has already happened, and knowing that, okay, this could have changed the course of the film or not? So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
And now I'm about to get my 2 cents where I show Kelvin this list. By the way, it's hilarious. So for me, I agree with both of you guys. It's basically more of a curiosity. I want to see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Am I excited for it? Not really, because like they're nowadays with the DC films, they're kind of straying away from the whole cinematic. Like they're all in the same universe kind of thing. They're kind of just not paying attention and just focusing on single films and make it worth a lot of money. I mean, the next Wonder Woman film doesn't seem like it's going to tie into anything. Shazam, all it did has references, which is still my favorite one of the DC films. Aquaman, they just do a slide out like, hey, you were with that team. Like, yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. I'm going to be King of Atlantis. Leave me alone. Essentially, that's like their whole plan with that one. But then, and like, heck, Joker, the Oscar-worthy movie, didn't have nothing to do with any of the past films.
It was.
Oh, no.
I mean, I think it's more of like an Elseworld story, which I think is sort of what I think they want to plan. They want to try
Yeah.
to do.
Which makes
Yeah.
sense if you want to do an Elseworld story.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the last one that just came out, Harley Quinn, they barely mentioned anything about Suicide Squad, and apparently the next Suicide Squad's a reboot.
Oh, jeez.
A well, soft reboot, from my understanding.
Uh,
But you know, let's see where this goes. That's all I have to say. I'm
yeah.
curious to see. Do I have high expectations? No. Do I wish Snyder good in his word and see where his story wanted to go? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I like to see how it all would have turned out
Mhm.
in sort of the alternate future the alternate timeline that we could have been in.
Mhm.
That to a more lighter note, this is coming from Screen Rant. This list, essentially, it's this is supposed to talk about the whole nightmare scene from Batman vs Superman. But essentially, it talks about stuff that I already mentioned, like Darkseid comes in, Darkseid kills the flame, afterlife equation on Superman, make him evil. People get turned into parademons, which is all right. Now, here's a real funny one, and I think this is one that I just think it's just really it's where Batman builds Flash a cosmic treadmill.
Oh, the cosmic treadmill.
Yeah, they would have brought in the cosmic treadmill.
That's oh my god, that's actually really funny. I want that now. Listen, all right. My favorite thing, whenever people say like DC films or DC is like, oh, DC's grittier, it's more realistic or whatever. It's like, have you not seen Crypto, the super dog, and all his super animal friends that are just have Superman capes and stuff? Have you not heard of
the Superman horse is actually a human being that got turned into a horse with Superman powers? That happens in every full moon that he turns back into human and actually dated Supergirl for once.
That's actually I did not know that, and that is
I read a book on that motherfucker.
That is way more weirder than I ever thought. But point is,
all I gotta say is Supergirl dated a horse.
All right, I did not.
The horse is actually, like I said, Joey, the horse is actually a man.
That does not make it okay, Ellie.
It does not. But I just thought it was fun.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, y'all.
Let's get away from this unsavory stuff, please.
And Eli's weird obsession with Supergirl and her alleged horse boyfriend.
Did you not hear what I said earlier?
I heard what you said, but
did you not hear my whole explanation? I said it all in one breath.
Yes. And again, bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. And Eli
was it in the 80s or was it in?
It was in the 80s.
Man,
it was during the whole Silver Age of comics where everything was weird.
Man, they must have done a lot of cocaine back then.
Oh, they did a lot of cocaine.
Jesus.
Let's bring it back, and Eli. We'll recommend your therapist later for your weird obsession with the horse.
That's not my exception. I was in a book that I read, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was a great book. It was a great book. They had a lot of funny and really messed up thing. Oh my god, I still remember Super UFO. This fat dude that's superpower is just basically become a UFO.
Comics are weird, man.
Golden Age, man. They were dumb. No, but to go on back to the list, Zack Snyder's eventually would have used the cosmic treadmill to use a time machine to go and save Lois Lane, which led to. And Kevin, I think you'll like this one because it sounds very much like the certain movie that we all saw and that we all enjoyed and became like the biggest summer blockbuster movie of all time, number one of all time, which is Batman was originally supposed to sacrifice himself to save Lois Lane. A la Tony Stark. Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay.
He would have taken the blow that Darkseid would have gave Lois Lane apparently in this list, as explains. So they're basically just they're just like tying it up to Final Crisis, which is a book where Darkseid killed Batman, but in actuality, Batman didn't die and was actually transported back in time to caveman times. Have to fight his way through time to get back to the correct timeline.
And that was a recent one, wasn't it?
That was Final Crisis. That was back in 2007 or something like that.
But it wasn't the Final Crisis though. There's
So
never a
Batman's
Final
supposed to pull. Batman was supposed to pull a Tony Stark in this case.
Because that's the closest thing we can relate it to. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I got that.
That it would have led to the whole self. He would have learned his lesson. He would have learned to love people again or whatever, and he would have sacrificed himself for the better. But I'm just like, why do I feel like you just kind of got that from watching Endgame?
But he didn't watch Endgame. This was supposed to be before.
Sure.
Are you saying that they made up the list?
No, this is all coming from Zack Snyder.
Oh, are you saying that Zack Snyder saw Endgame and retroactively decided that?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have any physical proof, so I don't believe you. Conspiracy theories. Next up. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's about it, right?
I'm trying to remember. There was a list. I just can't find that list. I've been spending the whole time looking for this list, but I can't seem to find it.
That's a big old list you got there, Eli, with your with your 2 cents on, whether the Snyder Cut will be good or not. That's a long list you got there.
Oh no, that list wasn't part of my 2 cents though. That was just me saying this because I thought it was funny.
I thought that was your 2 cents.
No, I already said my 2 cents, and then I move on to the list that.
And then you move. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Focus,
okay.
Kelly. Come on. Focus, boy. Focus. It's I'm trying to look for the. I remember there was a list that talked about more about it, and I think they were supposed to have like some of the battles were supposed to be more bigger, and more gods were supposed to show up, and more stuff eventually happened. Again, Martian Manhunter was always around apparently, and stuff. But let's be honest, like we said earlier, this is probably not gonna. We would like to see it. We have no idea how it's going to turn out. And if any of you haven't been paying attention, I know too much comic knowledge for myself.
Yeah. Joey, your 2 cents on.
No, I already.
Oh, you got your bit. Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I think we've all said our piece.
Yeah, we've all come to a consensus on how the cut will result out. Okay. Well, guys, we've reached we've reached past. We got an hour in, so this is a good episode.
Let's just end it right here.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say unless we really want to stray hairs and just look for that list that I can't find.
No, I think because I feel like Eli, your list is gonna keep like. I was looking at you. You were looking at your phone, and the fact that I saw the motion of your thumb kept scrolling, I'm like, that must be a really long ass list that you got there. So
that was just me looking through articles that had the list. I didn't write down the list. I
thought it was like a legit list. Okay, but again, we can definitely go more into that.
I was looking for the list, and in between that, we talked. I brought for whatever reason I started talking about freaking like comic book history that like people didn't really know or care about. I mean, that's what happens when you read a book called Unforgettable Heroes that no one really cared about. Because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of them. Like the trucker hero from Marvel, whose name I totally forget.
Well, that's sort of the point of the book, right?
And the NFL hero, and this superhero from Marvel, who's basically just a running back. That's literally his power.
Tom Brady's a superhero?
Basically!
No wonder he's able to win all those Super Bowl games. His ability is to literally change the timeline to win Super Bowl games.
Jeez.
By the way, that was from something that my roommate said when watching the Super Bowl, not me. So that's definitely not my idea. But anyways,
let's end it.
let's just end it. Let's just end it there because like the moment you went like Marvel and then football, I'm like, what's to end it there? Yeah. So
great book. I recommend it. I might put a link to it, but no.
Yeah, that's our episode for the day, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
we gotta go through our things first, Calvin, before we go.
Yeah.
We had a fun time. Just to sum it up, A lot of laughs, a lot of genuine laughter here. Kelvin, tell them where they can find us.
As always, ladies and gents, you guys can find us at anywhere where podcasts can be heard. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes. What's it? Castbox, Spotify, Pandora. Yeah, so all pretty much anywhere where podcasts can be downloaded or heard. And of course, if you're on the iTunes, shoot us that 5 stars. We greatly appreciate it. And of course, we got our social medias that we constantly update, even during these times right now. We still stay up to date on everything that goes on in the geek world, kind of deal.
And if we're not, we're making sure we are.
And of course, since all 3 of us now are post grad and still broke, support us on our Patreon.
I'm not broke yet.
I'm slowly approaching it, but to help us with just funding for the podcast, we greatly appreciate it. Even just $1 would help.
Guys, there's
anything
a lot of
helps.
stuff that we want to do.
Yeah,
that we can't do without your help.
Yeah, so
like,
it and
I got we're talking about a list. I got a list of ideas, but I can't do them
unless we get the support in. And of course, if you guys don't know what they are, we actually have a little snippet video on our channel, which is part of one of many things you could follow. So if you've seen the video version of this, if you like the video, smash that like button, hit that bell notification to keep you guys updated on when we drop new episodes or just any kind of updates. And of course, we've got our Facebook and Instagram. All of our tags are the same, and Twitter as the same as well. And yeah, so please support.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, support us in any way you can, guys. We always like to hear from you guys, and we always want to provide you guys with a great episode. I think this has been one of our best episodes in a long time. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of jokes, and a lot of times where Kelvin just gets caught off guard.
Yeah, constantly. Constantly on a daily basis, like in both audio and video form. Eli just will say something. I'm just like, what? Like I just like, huh? So yeah,
bringing that knowledge. But no, we've enjoyed being with you guys. We're always enjoying doing stuff. Who knows what we might have planned next? During this crazy time we're in, we always try to make sure we bring some levity here because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, Kelvin, take us out.
It's your boy Kelvin signing off.
It's been me, Joe.
And it's been your good friend Eli signing off. This has been the Geek Centurions. Peace.
Bye-bye.